What's that?
Oh, it's a vitamin D supplement.
You see? That's why I don't go for the vegan diet. You can't get all the nutrients you need.
Of course you can. Actually, your body makes vitamin D using sunlight.
And vitamin D you can get from adequate sunshine. Only for those getting inadequate sunlight need to worry about supplementing their diet with vitamin D.
Many doctors nowadays are rightly looking at vitamin D levels in patients just to make sure that they're adequate. For many people, they're low. And then you need Dr. Greger's advice, which is get out, get some sunlight. And if you can't get sunlight, then a supplement makes sense. So a vitamin D test is not a bad idea.
So I got lab work as a vegan, did you?
Yeah, I did. And I was extremely deficient in vitamin D despite taking supplements
Me too.
every day.
Me too.
I was
still vitamin D.
I was taking vegan vitamin D every day and I was still deficient in vitamin D.
I got my vitamin D levels tested. So my collection reading is a 26.6. So when I saw this, I was honestly actually a little surprised considering I live in Florida and I'm actually outside in the sun a lot. I ride my bike to class and I do like to spend time outdoors. However, my vitamin D levels are a little lower.
This year, my vitamin D levels were flagged as being below the reference interval cutoff, which was 30.0. Mine were at 28.8.
The other big one was vitamin D. Now, he said I was the lowest in vitamin D that he had ever seen. Ever. And it's also widely known that vitamin D is not something that's easily found in plant-based foods, but a lot of vegans on YouTube will say that if you just go outside, you know, there's vitamin D in sunlight, which is true, but I'm outside in the sun all of the time.
Now here's my vitamin D. Check this out. Deficient. It says the low is 30. 30 out of 10. 30 out of 100. I have 10. I mean, how bad does this have to get before a person says, you know what, this diet's not working? Again, I took all the supplemented foods, the fortified foods. It said vitamin D on the package, but what do you know, my blood test is embarrassing. I mean, that's scary.
Chaz, because I was vitamin D deficient. If you're vitamin D deficient, it will lead to depression. And not just that, a whole host of other things with being a dang on vegan will lead to depression.
My vitamin D levels were extremely low. The reference range is between 50 and 100, with 50 being on the low end. So even if you're at 50, you'd be considered low by many standards. My level was 10. And my husband was a 4, which those levels to me are like critically low. It's scary low. And I live in Southern California. I'm out in the sun a lot. And so I was really surprised to see that my vitamin D levels were that low.
But I spent a year and a half in Thailand, and for the most part I kind of avoided the sun. I didn't want to age. I was always like long sleeves. But during the last couple months, knowing that I was coming back to Canada, I spent a lot more time in the sun. I've heard of people going on little winter vacations for 2 weeks. Oh, that's how I get my vitamin D. You're lying, bitch. You're lying. My vitamin D levels were 60, and that's the Canadian number, 24 for the American number. It should be so much higher, it's not even funny. I'm so deficient.
These are my blood test results after 8.5 years of being vegan. Let me start by saying that I eat a whole food plant-based diet, high fruit, high vegetable, beans, nuts, seeds, legumes, the works. That's about 80% of my diet. The other 20, some mock meats, vegan cheese, vegan butter, that kind of stuff. So the first thing that's super alarming is the vitamin D level. 7.9 when the normal range is 30 to 100. I supplement. I go outside. My body's not making vitamin D. That's really, really strange.
A lot of people say that you can get enough vitamin D if you're out in the sun long enough during the day, but that is not always the case. I took a blood test when I was living in San Diego, which I'm currently living in now, which is one of the most sunniest places to live on the planet. And when I was living here, I was severely vitamin D deficient. My levels were insanely low. And I don't think that some people properly convert vitamin D only from the sun.
The normal vitamin D is between 30 and 100. And my vitamin D was 27.2.
Before I went carnivore, I was actually on the vegan diet for 6 years. My doctor sat me down when the results came out and she said, you are deficient in a lot of vital nutrients. I think my vitamin D level was a whopping 7.
I tried my best to get as much sun as possible in those 4 years, and I supplemented. I also did an effort to go to countries that were more sunny than in the Netherlands. I did the best effort I could with supplementing and eating mushrooms. But every time I went to the doctor, my vitamin D levels were drastically low. Here in the Netherlands, the standard of the vitamin D levels should be above this focus. Should be above 50. The very last time I have measured my blood when I was a vegan, that was in January the 3rd to be exactly, my vitamin D levels were a whooping 30, come on, vitamin D total, 34. It's not good. But before that, it was 20. It has even been 19 sometimes. 2 weeks of reintroducing animal products back into my diet. What is my vitamin D level? Let me show it to you. Vitamin D, 71. Oh my God.